Hello everyone. Today we're going to take a break from politics and destruction and talk about tsunamis. Less than a day ago, there was a massive megathrust earthquake in Russia's Kamchatka region. Megathrust earthquakes are earthquakes where one huge tectonic plate is forced underneath another one. And one of the reasons why the Kamchatka region is particularly seismogenic, you can see how seismogenic it is here, is that we have the Pacific plate being forced under the Okhotsk microplate. Here is the Okhotsk microplate, and here also is the Pacific plate. Now the Pacific plate over here is the biggest crustal plate in the planet, and the area it covers is about a third of the planet, 30% of the planet. And when we have tectonic plates moving and clashing into each other, we have all sorts of interesting disaster phenomena, such as volcano eruptions, subduction zone earthquakes, and also tsunamis. Speaking of volcano eruptions, we had the Kliuchevskaya Sopka volcano erupting some hours after the earthquake yesterday. Right, so let us look at what happened. A powerful 8.8 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of Russia's Far East in the early hours of the morning. It has triggered tsunami fears across the Pacific, with warnings and alerts in place across Japan, parts of the US including Hawaii, California and Alaska, and the Philippines. The earthquake could be the sixth largest on record. Let us get some perspective. Here we have the strongest earthquakes on record. This is the sixth one, 8.8 degrees of magnitude. The previous one was also from the Kamchatka region. You can see here, 73 years ago, 9 degrees of magnitude. And the strongest one ever recorded is 9.5 degrees of magnitude 65 years ago in Chile. So it was a big deal what happened a few hours ago. And one of the things that we should remember is, especially when we're talking about Japan and that region over there, is that the 2011 earthquake that happened at the epicenter, had Japan at its epicenter, was particularly destructive, and it affected the entire Pacific, let alone Japan. Let us see here how it affected the entire Pacific, and bearing this in mind, we understand why there is panic, but also caution advised by the authorities this day. You see here that hours, less than a day afterwards, it impacted the entire Pacific. It even reached Argentina. And right, so it was particularly, its death toll was particularly high. It had around 20,000 people that were dead. And one of the good things about this case today is that we have no recorded victim. There have been some reports about a death in Japan, but they are unverified at the time I'm speaking. So let us start with Russia. We have here some footage about Russia and massive waves that hit it. There have been some reports of waves 3 to 4 meters high. We have here a series of large tsunami waves are now hitting Russia after the earthquake. Let us see here, it's massive and very destructive. That's a tree over here. Right, let us pause this video and go to the next one. Let us play this. So you see that it's particularly destructive. It's not another day ending in Y, let us say. And despite the fact that there were no victims, there has been disaster and massive disruption. But better be safe than sorry. You see here how far the water has covered the coastal region in this Russian area. Let us move here. We have here a very interesting video from the aftershocks of the earthquake that were felt in Russia. And we have some doctors who were operating on the surgery table here, and they refused to leave, and looks like they were doing a really good job. That this is definitely the doctors you want to operate you when something happens. They're gonna stay there, so really good for them and really good for the patient, I bet. Right, so here let's talk about Japan. The waves that struck Japan weren't that high. There were waves that reached up to 1 meter and 30 centimeters. But something that people should remember, especially given the previous disasters, the 2012, the 2011 earthquake and tsunami, but also the 1952 earthquake and the disaster that followed, is that the larger waves, weren't the first waves. They reached the shore 9-10 hours after the first waves did. So yes, this doesn't mean that it's over, and people in Japan need to be very cautious. And tsunami warnings in Japan have been switched to advisories, and people across the country are urged to stay cautious. I've heard that it's a particularly warm day in Japan. It's close to 40 degrees Celsius, and it's going to be a challenge to keep people inside, but perhaps this is a day for them to stay away from coastal regions. If you're in Japan and watching this, please stay safe. It's just a day or two, and then everything's going to go back to normal. But understandably, I understand if you're frustrated by the disruption that has occurred. The Japan Meteorological Agency has revised tsunami warnings to lower level advisories for all areas of Japan as of Wednesday evening. But officials say people should exercise caution until advisories are lifted. According to government officials, more than 2 million people in 229 municipalities have been urged to evacuate as of 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Authorities have been calling on people to stay away from the sea and move to higher grounds. And of course, we have traffic being affected. We have the threat of tsunami remaining for at least a day. This is the saddest thing that happened throughout this tragedy, at least that we know of as of yet. 4 whales were washed ashore near the city of Tateyama in Chiba Prefecture in eastern Honshu Island, according to NHK. But we need to say that again, and bear that in mind, that in 2011 there were close to 20,000 dead people, and now we don't have any recorded ones. And that I think that this is a particularly good thing, and we should cherish this. And maybe we could be saying that in some cases this is something good for Japan, and we should be saying a good thing about its authorities because they have invested heavily in infrastructure that protects coastal regions. So we need to give credit where it's due. Now let's go to Hawaii. We have here a photograph of water receding at Hanalei Bay Resort at Kauai, a classic and terrifying sign of an incoming tsunami. Impact expected within minutes. And we have here photographs and videos. Let us look at this here. We have this in Hawaii. That's just amazing. All of you stay safe. I hope all of you were safe. All of our Lotus Eaters fans and viewers in Hawaii. This was in Russia, and you see here that it was particularly destructive and strong. Lots of the containers here were just ushered in, catapulted into the deeper in the land, and further into than the coast from this tsunami. So it has been particularly disruptive as far as infrastructure is concerned. And speaking about Russia, there were some reports that the internet went down in that region for a really short amount of time, but it was restored very soon. Here we have this image here, and this wave, this incoming wave. I've heard that tsunami waves aren't particularly suspicious looking in the open ocean, and they become very strong the more they approach the shore. So sometimes you may look at them and think, well, this is a good occasion for surfing, or this doesn't look particularly malicious. They're way worse than they seem. Right. Now, there was an issue in Hawaii. Let us pause this video because I'm listening to it. Right. Now, in Hawaii, people were told to reach higher ground, and there was a case that happened. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'll say what people are reporting about it, and go out and check it, and we'll doubtlessly hear more about it as time goes by. So there was people from this region could reach higher ground by this road here that is owned by Oprah Winfrey, and for some time allegedly she was refusing to open it, and that meant that people would have to be exposed to dangerous areas for a greater amount of time. But people started raising the issue, and eventually Oprah gave in. We have here Nick Sorter saying, slop siren, insane. Maui police were present, stopping Hawaii tsunami evacuees from using Oprah's road before she finally relented to pressure and opened it. For those asking why people didn't just break open the gates themselves, that's why. It had police protection. Infuriating. We have here local man talking about Oprah. You'll see.
Look at this. I think they're trying to open Oprah's road. Come on, Oprah. Save us. Road to all the way up country, bro. All the way up country. She got it all to herself. And everybody trying to get in. Cops trying to open it. Nope. Still closed.
So you see lots of cops there protecting what is allegedly Oprah Winfrey's road, but essentially they opened it, and Nick Sorter made it a big victory about X and holding elites into account. Siren, Oprah's road before X versus Oprah's road after X. We the people forced Oprah to open the road, allowing folks to escape the incoming Hawaii tsunami and get to high ground. Well done for holding the elites accountable. Right, so I'm going to look more into the story, but it was interesting to mention. Right, and the tsunami reached California and Hawaii after massive earthquake in Russia. And we have here, tsunami waves have reached California and Hawaii several hours after the powerful earthquake in Russia's Far East. The U.S. National Tsunami Warning Center said Wednesday morning, tsunami waves measuring 1.6 feet above tidal level have been observed in Arena Cove in the U.S. state of California. In Hawaii, tsunami waves of up to 5 feet, 4.9 feet above tide level were registered, although the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center has said available data suggests a major tsunami is not expected to strike the island state. So it looks like there was a sort of, within quotation marks, panic, and the worst has not happened. What people were afraid of happening didn't happen, and that's a good thing. And I will say that I think it's understandable on behalf of people to raise the issue, and so you could say that sometimes, urging people to be cautious for a day is the right thing to do. And if you're living in coastal regions in Japan, Russia, Alaska, Canada, Hawaii, Philippines, the US, Mexico, Argentina, Latin America, please stay safe. There will be disruption, and there has been disruption, but better be safe than sorry. It's a day, it will pass, and pray that there are no victims.